I was at lunch earlier this week and I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw a post from world-renowned brand design agency Pentagram. This week they unveiled their new brand design work for digital finance platform PayPal. PayPal came to prominence building a reputation as the go-to money transfer platform, really being Venmo before Venmo. In fact, in 2013, PayPal actually bought Venmo. So their bread and butter is online digital money transfers. Cut to 2024, PayPal has started getting into the game of credit, debit, and even small business loans. So with all of these new developments with the company, it makes sense that a brand refresh is in order. And I'll say it. This is the most useless brand refresh I've ever seen in history. I mean, it's underwhelming to say the least, and we are going to get into it. But before we get into the work, I just want to make sure to, be sure to like, be sure to follow, and be sure to share to support the show. I'm Ziggy the Designer. Design is all around us. We might as well talk about it. So let's get into this work. This work was done by the team of Andrea Trabuco Campos under the brand design agency Pentagram. And, if you're unfamiliar with Pentagram, I'm 100% sure you're at least familiar with their work. I mean, this is one of the most renowned brand design agencies, graphic design agencies in the history of graphic design, right? I mean, this is the studio that did Fisher-Price. This is the studio that did the U.S. Library of Congress. This is the studio that did Harry Potter even. So Pentagram is known for putting out hit after hit after hit when it comes to graphic design work. But this PayPal work, I'll say it, it doesn't meet that expectation. And we're going to look at why. What does the work look like? So let's take a look. Immediately with this brand refresh, we're met with typography. And it's an element that's carried over from the previous brand work done by agency Gretel. However, you might notice that something's a little different with this typography, and it's that there is a lack of rounded corners on the type. That's an element that is, if you've used PayPal, it's something that you're very familiar with. It's friendly, it's approachable, but it's something that Pentagram took away, and that's because Pentagram decided to commission typography design studio Lineto to develop a typeface they call PayPal Pro. And if it looks familiar to you, you're not dreaming. You're right, it's familiar, because at its heart, PayPal Pro is a redrawn version of the popular typeface Futura. I mean, hey, I love Futura. I use Futura for the branding of this show, but I'm not Pentagram. I don't have the resources to develop a truly custom typeface, much like they do, right? So is this, lazy design of Pentagram to choose a popular font that many people have access to? No, I wouldn't say it's lazy design, but it's a massive underperformance on behalf of Pentagram. I mean, when you have the talent and when you have the resources, why not go for it, right? Next, what we get are some color tweaks. The dark blue, light blue combo that we've all come to know from PayPal stays, but the colors feel more saturated. It brings a lot of great energy and a lot of life to the colors and to the brand here. But as a trade-off, there's an absence of yellow to balance out the blue. And if you've used PayPal, you're definitely used to seeing yellow as an accent color in elements like UI buttons, or even as a contrasting color in ad placements. Pentagram calls the use of yellow outdated, and they opt to use black to ground the brand visuals instead of yellow. Now, me personally, I wouldn't say that the use of yellow is outdated in this case and in this treatment. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of brand equity built into the use of blue and yellow for PayPal. I mean, to say it's outdated to me feels like an excuse to change things for the sake of change. I mean, let's be real. PayPal isn't a startup anymore. I mean, they aren't looking for Y Combinator backing. They aren't looking for Series C or even Series D funding. PayPal is a publicly traded company. You can't treat it like a startup. And to be quite frank with you, it seems like that's what Pentagram is doing here. PayPal has been around for a long time. They have stability. They have a strong reputation in the minds of consumers, and to just treat it like any other startup is a little disrespectful to the brand. I mean, when you take away elements like rounded corners, like the use of yellow under the guise of, oh, it's outdated, it comes off as pretentious. But I'll give Pentagram this. They make an effort to spice things up by adding motion design to pretty much all of the elements. I mean, the typography moves, the imagery moves, the new PP icon moves. But at the end of the day, motion design isn't graphic design. What you lack in design aesthetic cannot be saved just because you put it in a cool animation. And I'll say it like how one of my old football coaches said it. A bad team wearing cool uniforms is still a bad team. So what makes this the most useless rebrand ever? Creatively speaking, when you do a rebrand or a brand refresh, the creative is supposed to deliver something new and distinctive, and Pentagram does not deliver that here for PayPal. This creative offers nothing new. In fact, I'd say this creative takes away from PayPal more than it adds. I mean, you lose a lot of what visually made PayPal. Like we said earlier, PayPal loses the fun, the friendly, the approachable rounded corners in their graphics. They're losing the pop of yellow that made them so distinct. Now you're getting something that feels like every other tech company. It is unoriginal, it is uninspiring, and it's not anything that should be coming out of a studio that performs at the caliber that Pentagram performs at. I mean, Spotify looks like this. Dropbox looks like this. Even SoFi, who PayPal is now trying to directly compete with, looks like this. I mean, on a creative level, it just feels like the effort wasn't there. It felt like Pentagram looked at the previous branding agency's work and changed some of the answers so that the teacher wouldn't catch them cheating. What upsets me the most is that this work came from what is supposed to be one of the most prestigious branding houses in graphic design history. This is the same agency that did amazing work for the world of Harry Potter. Absolutely beautiful work for Rolls-Royce. And one of the most creative brand treatments I've ever seen in the U.S. Library of Congress. Pentagram has a reputation for delivering industry-leading, groundbreaking work. And this PayPal work was nowhere near that expectation. Pentagram is a leading voice in the design industry. People and designers listen to what their partners have to say, and they follow them to a T. And when Pentagram delivers, let's just call it what it is, subpar work, that sets the standard for other agencies. Because if Pentagram can get away with it, right? If Michael Barut, if Paula Scher, if Emily Oberman can get away with it, why can't every other agency get away with it, right? Look at Turner Duckworth. I mean, they just delivered an incredibly underwhelming rebrand in Verizon a couple months ago. I mean, this standard hurts the design industry. I mean, there's a reason that many corporations are building in-house creative teams. And I know, I said it. I said the bad word, in-house creative teams. But there's a reason that many corporations are building in-house creative teams. And it's because agencies like Pentagram have started to underdeliver for the price that they're charging. And this PayPal brand is Exhibit A. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all I have for you today. Be sure to like, follow, share. In fact, you know what? Share this with that Pentagram fanboy in your life. I mean, we're designers. We all have one. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are two things you need to know about me, it's that one, I love design. And two, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.